Welcome to another episode of The Profile. I'm Gary Dunn, and tonight on the couch, or the hot seat, or the chair, we call it all sorts of things, there's a gentleman, and I call him a gentleman because my wife always says to me, he is such a gentleman. You keep,
God.
yeah, well, Bob, you keep saying, introduce me to your wife again, so I do, so you can have another cuddle.
Well, that's what it's all about, Gary. You know, family, friendship, and I treat you and especially your wife as family.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, no, that's
Bob,
right, mate.
so nice to have you here.
It's fabulous being here.
Well, Bob, I'll start with where were you born?
I was born in Perth, or Maylands, at St Anne's Hospital.
Yep.
Moved to Mosman Park as a kid. Went to John Curtin High. Left school at 14. Worked in a wool shed. Introduced me to grown-up men. So I left there and became a dispatch driver, or worked in the dispatch at Box 80 in Howard.
Yep.
And worked there for a while. Then at about 19, I went and lived in Sydney with a couple of mates.
Yep.
Which was a big step in those days.
Yep.
I think there was only one plane a week or something. And as long as both the motors kept flying around, we were
Up and
okay.
away
Yeah.
with TA.
So I lived over there. Drinking age was 18 in Perth. And I was busted at the age of 19, if you can believe that.
Wow.
So I thought, nah. So I went over to the eastern states. We used to get 6 o'clock rock over here. And to go there to the big pubs, the Miller's Hotel circuits, to see these people we only ever saw once a week performing live, it just... it's a feeling I can't explain.
Yeah.
And so through that, my father was pretty crook, and I came home for my 21st birthday. I was engaged to a girl over there.
In Sydney?
Yeah.
Yep.
Name was Christine. Haven't spoken to her since. True love, you know. It's like, I think, well, I'm 20, I can do what I like.
Yes.
Came back home and started working as a hairdresser. A hairdressing sales rep for Weller.
All right.
Hairdressing.
Wow.
Introduced to more grown men.
Yeah.
Then I started working as a doorman in a nightclub called Top of the Town.
Yep.
And
Where was Top of the Town?
It was in Hay Street,
Yep.
just over the road from the Melbourne Hotel.
Yep.
And I was working there in the night time as a doorman. Then in the daytime, I became the cleaner. So I'd clean in the daytime.
Yep.
Black and white check tiles everywhere. If I'd turned up with the hangover, we'd just wipe the white ones. So from there, I started to accept a bit of responsibility, and I wasn't a good doorman. So people I worked for, John McGuire,
Yep.
and Howie Sangster.
Yep.
Howie specifically is very well known, and was for the entertainment industry for a long time. They'd bought Pinnochios at 393 Murray Street.
Yep.
And they asked me to go down there and help them start Pinnochios.
Yep.
I'll go back. When I was a cleaner at Top of the Town, I used to get a bit of a buzz out of watching the bands come in and rehearse.
I was going to ask you, because you've always been in bands, entertainment.
Yeah.
When I've known you, and what was the attraction?
Well, I think, well, a lot of the entertainment, especially in Perth, has been totally underrated and totally never really truly respected for what it did and what it's contributed to us.
Yeah.
There'd be very few people out there now that grew up in my era, a bit earlier or later, that wouldn't be able to tell you their favourite band, their this and that,
Yeah.
who the singer was. Yet all these guys all of a sudden disappear and they can't. I mean, they have contributed far too much, and I've always enjoyed them. They've always been great people. I'm very comfortable in their company, even though quite a few, especially yourself, is quite erratic and difficult at times. But you know, you get used to little things like that.
Yes.
And make excuses for people like yourself because of the habit and things like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But and from there, I remember one day, because the Times, I saw Jimmy Sheridan's thing was bloody awesome.
Yeah.
And
he's an awesome bloke.
Oh, magnificent man, what a gentleman. And the Times would rehearse up there, and I remember Tony, I was polishing the floor, and Tony Tyler's walked in, and I said, "Oh, how you going, Tony?" He said, "How you going, Bob?" And he called me Bob by my name. Oh man, I was just, that was just gorgeous, you know, it was fabulous. I remember the troubadours rehearsing, trying out their new drummer, who was Peter Bull.
Wow.
Mark IV were constantly there. We'd let the place out for rehearsal.
Yeah.
But when I went to Pinnochios, it became quite a serious place. It was massive, and it was driven by entertainment. And
what was your job at Pinnochios then?
I was a doorman, come manager. Like it was open 6 nights. I'd work 3 nights. The doorman in those days wasn't necessarily a bouncer. He was the handshaker and how you going, come through, and all this sort of thing. And we always had a couple of 2 or 3 chained up gorillas that would sit up the back and prod them every now and then and give them some raw meat and a bit of Bacardi and take a guy's tie off and dangle in front of his nose and go and get him. Because back in the day, I guess, clubs were very different. You had to wear a white shirt and a tie to get in, not a coloured shirt.
I'd get in.
You'd get in, yeah. And
I don't think you'd pass.
Well, no, I wouldn't not with a shirt, but yeah. I'd probably get to know the owner, so I'd get in the back door. Yeah, so, and everyone would bring their own grog.
Yeah.
So it was BYO, because we used to operate under a thing called a tea room licence. And it started from the old Greek gamblers down at the old Italian the clubs where you could play cards and bring your own bottle of beer in, and that was a tea room.
Yeah.
So we knocked that licence around a bit, but you had it was very unusual. But anyway, we got our licences, and from there we started entertainment, and that was based around predominantly the bands.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and all local bands. Every now and then we bring a particular artist over, and then in the probably mid 70s, 80s, show bands started in Perth, which bands like the Troubadours, the Times, the Statesmen, Mark IV, Mayday.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned Alan Lyford. He used to play in a little band called Cashbox, and
Yes.
so I got to know all the guys that were coming through, and you could actually tell who was good, who wasn't.
Yes.
I mean, who was going to survive in the industry.
Yeah.
And but part of their job was also a floor show, so the band would have to present their own floor show. And we then joined a circuit with a guy called Ivan Damon,
Yep.
who was in the Gold Coast, and he would send us a new band every month.
Yeah.
And I was there for 5 years as the manager.
Yep. After that, so you went into real estate at some time? Or?
Yeah, they actually sacked me from there because they were the owners, Howie and John, were going down a different track. They thought I was a bit too casual. They wanted to up the ante. They wanted to have champagne. They brought a guy over from the eastern states, an American gentleman who spoke very nicely and was terrific and remembered people's names, and he had specific doormen in white suits standing there. And you know, they put a glassed in area up top. They had oysters. It was just certainly not Perth 1969, 70.
No.
And excuse me, so I left and I thought, oh, that's it. I've given it my best. If that's it, that's it. So I went and started selling real estate for a few months, and I got a phone call from John Golding.
All right.
And John Golding, a beautiful man again. He is Gobbles.
Yeah.
He is the nickname of Gobbles. He started Gobbles nightclub, even though it was an existing club before that.
Yeah.
He started Gobbles, and he set the format as to where Gobbles would go from there.
What was the reason the name Gobbles came about? Was there a story there?
Well, Gobbles, he got his nickname. Well, it's a good reason, and it happened. Well, I better ask John if he doesn't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Ask him when he comes on.
Okay, no worries.
Anyway, his nickname was Gobbles, and a very, very, very good reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Very healthy man was our John.
Maybe I can get you back to tell the rest of the stories, and we can ask John. And
I'll ask him in the meantime. Yeah, you know, because I've come this far without getting hurt. not badly hurt anyway. Bruised. So yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, when I was working at Gobbles, it was only for 3 months while he went overseas to get married. So I looked after the place. I put a stock system in and changed things around a bit how I would have done it. Yeah. And in that time, we had Pinnochios had been changed, and that was now called the Petman Cloud.
Yeah.
Not doing very well, thank God. And the owners of Beethovens were stumbling a bit, and that was with Jimmy Sheridan's crowd. He was involved, and the people he told me that were there's the Barbagallos, this, that, and the other. So they offered me a job, and I talked to my wife. Second child had come along. The job was good. I wouldn't go there unless I had complete say, and I wanted equity. I didn't want it for nothing, so I paid for my equity, and I was a shareholder at Gobbles. At excuse me, at Beethovens. Then during the Beethovens years, it was a bit ordinary. It was okay, but I had to do what the owners wanted to do.
What years were they, Bob?
Be 82. Oh no, before that. She was about mid-70s.
Yeah.
Started disco.
Yeah.
So we had an unusual concept. We brought over a DJ from America called AJ Kemp.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. He, well, I don't know what to say about him. He's an American.
Yes.
And he brought a different feel to the place, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
We then started having a lot of problems because of the English kids growing up in there. They brought a North England feel to the place.
Yeah.
It wasn't commercial. And I had issues with the owners, so I told them that I wanted to leave. They bought me out, and I said but prior to that, I'd made my decision. I want to go back, and I'd approached to buy Pinnochios back from the previous owners. They wouldn't sell it to me, so I got somebody else to come and buy it. So then that became Pinnochios.
Yeah.
And then Beethovens went kafoop, so I went and bought Beethovens back. So then I had Gobbles, Beethovens, and Pinnochios. And it was at that stage that I was allowed to get involved in the music side of things.
Yeah.
I then bought the Old Melbourne Hotel.
Yep.
And converted Gobbles to a strictly live room, and no questions asked. You know what you're going to get.
Oh, and thank God you did that, because I mean, the plethora of musicians we've had on here, we all survived.
Yeah, it's actually it's its own story. Gobbles. It was originally called the Floridita nightclub, owned by a guy called Alan Oxley, and there are a few people involved in it. But when we decided to call it Gobbles, the crowd was enthusiastic and the bands weren't that well chosen, and I wasn't sure what to do, whether to close it down, rebuild it.
Yeah.
So under pressure from certain people, we altered it and called it Hello Harrigans.
Yep.
Excuse me. And that's when I went to Alan and I asked him to form a band.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a band and said, I've got one. I can't remember how it worked.
Was
but
that Pithers or?
Alan Pithers, yeah.
Yeah.
Good-looking man.
Yes, very.
He's
nice hairdresser.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, very good, very nice guy. Yeah, but so Oralette started, and it was a totally different thing for the Perth scene.
Yeah.
And I used to yell and scream because they didn't play commercial songs. You know, I wanted to hear Running Bear and things that I could play on the
They were
drums.
playing their own music.
They were playing their own music, Gary.
Yes.
Not happy,
No.
Gary.
I'm sure you weren't.
Yeah, but they'd all start off with a commercial song.
Yes.
Then they go straight. Well, you know that was Peter Gunn, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
That was your only condition. Play Peter Gunn at home.
Yeah, that's it.
But I learned a lot there, and what happened, the band started to introduce their own music in. But it was quite a phenomenon, because my suggestion was one original per bracket to two original per bracket.
Yeah.
But after about 4 months, 6 months, those originals they'd introduced were now cover songs.
Yes.
So they could play a lot more. But then, which is the curse of Perth, is that commerciality overrides it.
Yeah.
Your commercial radio stations are so strong.
Yeah.
The offbeat radio stations, there's no market in them.
Yeah.
So I became a commercial beast, and we then closed down Hello Harrigans, and that was for no other reason except it just wasn't working. And that's when we reinvented Gobbles, and the story's quite interesting because we opened again as Gobbles, and the landlord is a guy called Laurie Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, Wilson's car parking and things like that. The bastard wouldn't give me a lease.
That's right.
So every morning we'd wake up. We only had a month to go.
Yeah, it was a month by month, wasn't it? Yeah.
So someone would say, change the carpet. Christ. I said, no, I'm not going to write out a cheque for 40 grand because he's liable to burn us down.
And it actually burnt down once during the week.
Twice, three or four, actually.
When I was there once, I think.
Yeah, a lot of things happened to that place. But it grew, and it became a myth. And, well, no, it wasn't a myth, it was legend because it was
sticking to the carpet.
Yeah. I mean, how many doormen did it take to throw the man down the stairs? Yes. None, he tripped.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to have karate guys on the gate down there. I mean, it was one of the most enthusiastic environments I've ever worked in.
Yeah.
But, and then you and your band,
the night after,
brought it into another sphere.
Yeah.
And when we had a commitment with you, something wasn't right. So that's when my beautiful friend Johnny Anderson said, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
He said, we're trying to attract musos. We've got to get the roadies for Jimmy Barnes, not Jimmy Barnes. We've got to get the roadies from... So he embraced all the roadies, and they became the guys with the drink cards. So all the artists in the casinos and wherever would say, well, where do we have a drink? So come with me, mate.
Used to run across the road to the entertainment centre, hand out the drink cards to the roadies.
That's right. Well, John and I'd go over there. We'd have bow ties and a torch, and we'd walk as if we were ushers. And we used to go backstage and bring them over afterwards. But, you know, and that was a freak within itself, in as much as, I guess, as you would know, I mean, Elton John was there, Billy Joel.
Oh, everyone.
Everyone would just get up and play. And, Actually, yeah. So...
Tell us a story about AC/DC, but I think it was Beethovens, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Beethovens, it was the previous owners it was a confused beast. It wasn't sure what it was. All that it was a new, clean, different club, but no one knew what its concept was, and no one knew how to market it. So you've got a rock and roll band on, but AC/DC were the support band. Yeah. To Carlotta, the female impersonator.
Unbelievable.
And I'm a great judge. I see you'll never work here again. Your kids aren't going to make it. I remember telling Des, has he been on here?
Yes, he has, in excess.
Yeah, I said, get this mob out of here. There might be local boys, but they're no good, mate. They're no good.
They were the Farris brothers then, I think, as well.
Yeah, they actually went to Hollywood High. And they were great guys, but you know, how do you know?
I met my wife at Beethovens at the Musos Club, Monday nights.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that concept?
Yeah. Oh, we've had every concept you can think of, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, everything, anything goes at Pinnochios. Yeah. But predominantly it was the bands that brought the crowd, and it was always an exciting time when a new band would start.
Yeah.
Bands like the Troubadours and a lot of those cover bands, show bands, we call them. They travel around the world. Yeah. And amazing success.
Because there was Ross Mitchell was a partner in some way along the line there, wasn't he?
Oh, Ross and I are great friends. Yeah. I remember he came down one day and he said, I've got a new band. I said, oh, good. What do you want, Wednesdays and Saturdays? Well, Saturdays, he said, oh, what do you mean? I said, well, just pick them. This is a Pinnochios. You haven't heard the band? I said, I'll be right on it. So we started a couple of little businesses on the side, and he was the Ross and I'm the Bob, so that's where the word boss came from. Yeah.
Boss Entertainment.
Yeah, Ross is a great friend and a great entertainer.
Yeah.
Great singer.
Yeah,
great stories too.
Yeah, great friend of mine too.
Yeah.
So you bought Gobbles, JA came along.
No, JA was... another story. It's got its own heart. Well, when I bought Peppermint Cloud and was changing it to Pinnochios, the system would be all of the staff would be disemployed, or put off. I don't like using the word sacked, but they'd cease working there. Then we would interview the the staff and see if we wanted them to continue.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in Pinnochios. This guy's rocked in. He's sort of swaggering along. He's got long hair, wooden beads, a bandana, caftan, wooden clogs, and a cigarette. And he said, "What do you eat?"
What do you eat?
I said, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "G'day, mate." And who are you? He said, "John Anderson." "Bob, how are you?" I said, "Oh, thanks, John." "So what do you do here?" He said, "I'm the hello man." I said, "The what?" "The hello man." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I walk around saying hello to everyone." And I said, "Oh, well, He said, "No." He said, "And I promise you," he said, "I laugh at every one of your jokes." So I looked at him. I said, "Well, okay, well, you want to start now?" So he sat next to me. We re-interviewed all the rest of the people, and it was just magnificent. So from that day, we became the greatest friends, and never did anything. Pretty much, we went through all of our early years together.
Yeah, and a fantastic gentleman as well, like yourself. And I mean, he paid for, or he got all the alcohol at my wedding. What do you want?
You're kidding?
No.
What,
he didn't tell you that?
I didn't. He did.
Everything.
Are you serious about this?
I'm very serious about it.
You're joking. What? You actually got it for free?
Yes.
From Gobbles?
Zero, nothing.
Oh, Jesus, Gary.
I worked there for 9 years, but...
Oh, you would have been... Yeah, probably had your own key anyway.
I did.
He said, "We may as well give it to you as you take it."
I remember ringing you last year for the Gobbles reunion or talking to you, and you said, "Oh, Gary Dunn, I love you." And I said, "Well, you've got a way with words, Bob." And you said, "Well, you made me lots of money for 10 years." And I said, "No, it was only 9, actually."
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, you did. And I got to tell you that when your band was there the night after, I don't know how it started or where it finished.
Redmond and Parks. I think you guys went to see them at the Red Parrot.
Yeah, it was at the Red Parrot.
Yeah,
Our band had just left,
Yeah.
and they had a front line, and they were commercial. They were brand new. Paul had just come out of Kids in the Kitchen, and he had that sort of, direct from
Melbourne.
White Gum Valley.
White
By
Gum.
Melbourne. So and but at that time, those three venues, we then had the Melbourne Hotel, where we set up. That became a disco, and then we stopped the disco and we put the bands back in, and it became a really incredibly good room for live music.
Yeah, well, your support of live music has been second to none, and obviously,
thank you.
Yeah, it has, and I think anyone would say that. Much appreciated from all the musicians' part, because you always gave us all a go, if you like, and
but it definitely is, or always should be, a two-way street. I mean, you're right. We made a lot of money, but not only because of but it was a great mix.
Yeah,
and not only was the band good, they were good people.
Yeah,
and it's quite funny how our industry works. If you've got a shithead over there, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So when you've got owners that can socialise with the bands, with the barman, and everyone gets on, it doesn't,
I think the drink chips certainly helped as well.
They do, yeah. They do. They go along. If you remember a place like Gobbles, we very seldom advertised. If we did, it was internally or whatever. And I mean, you can't do it now, but there's no better advertising than have 500 of people who are really having a great time.
Yeah.
The buzz you get when you're on stage and you look out and everyone's just going off.
Yeah.
We feel the same standing back looking at the room, So it's good. Adrenaline.
Yeah. So have you ever played an instrument, Bob?
No. Came close once. I bought a guitar.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
In fact, it's quite funny. I bought a guitar when I was playing. I could play Peter Gunn. That's just the start to Peter Gunn. I couldn't get off.
So on one string on that bottom string.
No, I go to the second string as well.
You?
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
That's very
not
technical.
easy. It's not hard. It's not hard. You could learn it.
Well, I used to just do it on one string, so.
Yeah, but you were only miming, weren't you?
Yes.
Didn't you have someone behind that curtain? That was J.A. with the saxophone.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's right.
No, and I sold it to Rick Selby from the Troubadours.
Right, yeah.
Because Rick and I grew up in Mozzie Park together. Yeah.
John always used to want to get up and play sax, obviously, but his favourite song was "Where Do You Go To, My Lovely."
Yeah, but he used to turn his mic off and he used to applaud himself.
Yes.
Only guy I know that could physically pat himself on the back.
That's right. Hope you're watching, John. So yeah, you always believe in live entertainment, and I think
it
that
had
was
to be. Even now, you know, it doesn't sit with me not to have live entertainment. It just doesn't work. So.
And so
some dead entertainment too. Some entertainers probably are or appear to be these days.
What would your favourite live band have been?
Well, for different reasons. Different reasons. The band that changed my life, and probably a lot of Perth musicians, was a band called Sounds Incorporated.
All right.
And Sounds Incorporated came from England, and they just finished a tour of Germany supporting as the backing band for the Beatles. And they brought a form of professionalism that I had never seen before. And they were that good, they wouldn't work in the room at Pinnochios. We had to get new staging built for them, but they were that good it was worth it. And I'd see them before they'd go on, and they'd be that intense, almost like a footy game before. And it was at that point that I realised what a tight band is, or whatever you guys call it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other bands around the place would all come in and see it, and so that was a changing point. The best band I've seen, I don't know, the band I really enjoyed was Paul Simon's band. You know, I don't know the songs they were playing, but no, too many to name, I think.
Yeah. Is there any particular story, funny story or serious story?
They're all funny.
Yep.
To me now.
They
weren't maybe at the time.
No. Is there something you can share with us?
In reference to what? I mean, I see it's difficult because I go back to Johnny O'Keefe, all the way back to currently now, with Harry Styles working at Paddy McGuire's this weekend.
Oh, right. Do you want to give Paddy McGuire's a plug?
Yeah. No.
Just look into that camera there, if you like.
Yeah, Harry Styles is on this weekend at Paddy McGuire's.
I was in Paddy McGuire's the other week talking to your son Ben.
What, doubling the crowd?
No, there was a few people there.
Good.
The producer was there, Al.
Yeah.
So that was two of us.
Did you pay for your drinks, or did you get?
No, I didn't actually.
Did you get married there?
I offered. I offered, but I think I bought him one back on last Friday night.
Oh, where? At the
Point.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Would he remember you being there?
No.
Thank you.
No, he
That's
definitely
my boy.
wouldn't. That's my boy. He actually lives next door, I think, now, doesn't he, to Paddy's? And
yeah, in that area somewhere. He'll never tell me.
So what? Have you taken a step back now?
Yeah, pretty much so. We had a period of time where I had the Aberdeen for 15 years. Yep. That was always live music. We worked hard on that. I had Post Office Nightclub, which was live bands there all the way through. I sold the Hippie off to JA.
Yeah.
We swapped, and he finished up with the Hippie Club.
That's with Craig.
Craig Belcher, got out of the Racket Club, got out of everything.
So that was Exit first, wasn't it?
Exit was Romano's.
Oh, that's right.
We bought it as Romano's and then changed that into Exit. And then, but right now my son runs everything. He's got two great partners.
Yeah.
They're enthusiastic young kids. The three of them work very closely. They've taken my key off me and my code and changed the combination to the safe. But I just put that down to not trusting me. But it annoys me because Ben used to be Bob Maher's son, but now
now he's his own entity.
Yeah. Now I'm his dad.
I love it. Okay, talk to me about Rodney Road.
Rodney?
Yes.
Rodney Keft.
Rodney Keft?
Yeah, Keft. I don't know where you picked this up from, but Rodney was... Who are you talking to? Rod,
I could ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, Rod was... some might say he was before his time because he used the F word.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous now. I mean, when you look at stand-up comedy, it's used all the time. Anyway, the police had it in for Rod, and they wanted him out of town.
Yeah.
So I had him at Gobbles one night with Alan Pithers was playing in the band, and Rodney got up and told a joke. And I probably shouldn't say.
You can
joke.
swear on the show. It's
okay.
fine if you want.
he said, he's telling this joke on stage. He said, a copper pulled me over the other day. He said, and I wound my window down and me dog grabbed him by the arm. And the copper said, hey, Rod, pull your dog off. He says, pull himself off yourself, he said, my arm's tired. So the cops have come and got me and said, look, buddy, shut him down now. I said, what? He says, get up there and shut it down, otherwise I'll arrest you as well.
Yeah.
So, God, serious? Drink? No. Photo? So I went up there and I just said, look, Rod, you know, got to close it down, mate. You know. He went, what? Anyway, he said, oh, look, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but the police have told me I've got to stop. So we're going to have to shut it down. Mm. The crowds turned and looked at me thinking that I'm the cop, right? So they started throwing shit at stuff. Oh, honestly, it was amazing. There was cans, potato chip packet, empty, went through the air. How did he get that velocity? I don't know. Anyway.
They were angry.
Very. And I said, Rod, hey, tell him it's not me. So he's got up there and like an idiot. He said, by the way, he said, that's my mate Bob. It's not him. It's those pricks over there, and pointed at the police.
Yeah.
So they got a hammering. They just, everyone did this rebel, and it was a fabulous moment. But it got a bit scary, and they told me to stop it. And I said, well, I can't. How am I going to stop this? And so they'd called the police back up and all that sort of stuff.
Because it was in the papers, I think.
Oh, yeah. Just a little cameo being.
Free advertising.
It was. Not necessarily.
Used to love that.
But then, so anyway, because I couldn't stop it, they arrested me for inciting a riot. So when you're under arrest, you've got to be handcuffed. I couldn't work out what was going on. And they're trying to get my hands together to handcuff them. And I wasn't resisting. But they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, Christ, I said, don't you guys just take prisoners? Or can't you have a cup of tea or something? Anyway, he got banned from town and I got threatened and different things happened, but, you know, that's all good.
You survived through that.
Yeah, always survived. In fact, your hardest stories are your funniest stories, you know, things that, you know, nights you don't think you're going to get through, but you do, and you sit down afterwards, have a drink and laugh about it.
Yeah. I used to walk up those stairs at Gobbles thinking one day I'm not going to do this and I'm going to, I just loved every time I walked up those stairs as if it was my last game or whatever.
Was it? Yeah, well, the interesting thing is it's still there.
Yeah.
Gobbles is still there.
The building's still there.
I went down with JA the other day and had a look. And
any thoughts of?
Oh, yeah, and I've actually spoken to the owner and I said, if you're going to knock it down or get out, you know, I said, we want a month. That's all.
Just a month would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we can bring our grandkids and say, listen, see, this is where Poppy used to play. Well, the only thing wrong with it, of course, is now that it's quite clean. Yeah. And I don't think the rats are there every morning.
Oh, okay.
Because the rats were a problem at Gobbles, as you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell you about my cleaner.
Tell me.
They used to give him $5 a rat tail
every
morning. And what I found out, the bastard was using the same rat tails. They started to smell. And that's a true story.
Yeah. I remember Mouse used to make the most money, I think, because he used to get $1 for every pass that had Mouse written on it. And he was probably getting $1,000 a week.
Well, he'd say you're paying to go in there, and he says, yeah, well, get it for nothing.
Yes.
Marketing was obviously in those days was what's that thing called? Computer stuff.
Yeah. Digital.
Digital. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But it was great because there was always something like a tour of duty every January 26th, and
actually, I would like to make one point that I'm quite specific about, and that is one of the people that has created a lot of good things in Perth that goes unrecognised is a girl called Sue Ridalsh.
Yes.
And Sue now is one of the financial, or very big and high up in the casino. In the casino, Sue used to drive the Gobbles drunk bus, put them all on. She was the back to Bali parties. She worked.
Neura.
And that's what got that happy feeling back. She then left there and went and ran the post office. Was it? I can't remember what it was called. Post office. Yeah. So she needs to be recognised because she's a fabulous girl and one of the hardest working women in that industry, and one of the most knowledgeable.
While you're recognising people, Greg Dowell.
Greg Dowell.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
GD.
Mate, gorgeous man. Spoke to him the other day.
Yeah.
Greg's over in the eastern states.
Yeah. St Leonard's Hotel.
Yeah, Greg and I have enormous history together, and
Of course.
mainly incredibly funny stories.
Yeah.
But Greg was the only guy that ever worked for me that I knew smoked a joint during the night.
One?
Oh, no, but I mean, it was an awkward situation being an owner and having your kids growing up, knowing what adults did,
Yeah.
what people did. I never tolerated anything drug-wise except I understood marijuana.
Yeah.
But Greg was the greatest, or is the greatest, fine-tuner of a club. And it's hard for people to know when you walk into a place, something's not right. Well, Greg would know in his venue what was or wasn't wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Turn down the air conditioning, put this up here, do this, clean that, move that,
Yeah.
band, record, this.
Yeah.
But he could only do it if he smoked a
big Scooby.
a big Scooby over at the park.
Arthur used to roll the big trumpets
Yeah,
out in the back of the band room
Well,
there. And
well, I saw one of Greg's one night, and I'm sure it was a Friday, and I think the same one was going Sunday afternoon.
and of course, Shona and Jackie Kelly and
Beautiful girls, and
Yeah.
I needed to lead
Sorry.
into them, but I'm hopeful that they're going to do their own
Yep.
gig.
Yep.
I mean, Shona worked with me when she was 16 years of age, and I love her
Yeah.
totally to bits. And she contributed that much to the industry by giving away her youth.
Yes.
And Jackie is one of the most knowledgeable people and the best friends and the smartest promoter that we can get. And I'm sure you're going to be doing something with them.
Yep. Yep.
But they need to be recognised.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's always been a woman in my life.
Yep. Lots of them. They all love you.
Yeah, well, you should have explained that to my wife. I was married for 43 years, which is not a bad effort for a nightclub owner.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember we did the Pecco gig.
Yeah.
You were standing there, and there was just a wall of women around you.
Yeah, but I had $100 notes sticking out of my
Did you?
nose.
That
yeah,
was your-
yeah, and cocaine in my back pocket. I mean, it works every time. And drink cards. I drink cards. What did you used to use? Drink cards,
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
No, they were just friends that's catching up, and yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so any other jobs?
That I've had.
Yeah.
A great achievement, which I'm very happy with, is our ID scanner called Scantech, and I'm not trying to push it on as an ad, because thank God we don't. It's going very, very well.
Yeah.
During the enthusiastic days of the mid 2010s, 12s, the police clamped down on liquor, and we designed this ID scanner, which, when you go into a venue, it takes your photo within 2 seconds, tells you whether you're a good boy or a bad boy.
Yeah.
So we've got now over 7,000 people throughout Australia on a ban list.
I know. I was in Queensland a few months ago.
Yeah.
They're mad on it there.
Yeah, it self-regulates you, and you know, apart from being financially successful, I feel as though it's a contribution. Police statistics show that it alone reduced alcohol fuel violence in Northbridge by 67%.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of an achievement. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, and we just won we won all the Queensland accounts. So that's been taking up a lot of my life, because it's still involved in the industry without having to stay around rolling around in the gutters with people like Alan Pithers and Cliff. And,
So you're still making all the money, really?
most of it, yeah.
And
It's
Ben
all-
and the other guys are blowing.
No, they get the money, because I told you they took the keys
Took
off
the
me.
keys
yeah.
to the safe.
For a while there, I had it really good, you know. Trying to explain to these 20-year-old girls that I come to my nightclub.
And obviously a close friend of yours, a dear friend, Pecco.
Johnny. A
When
lot closer than I realised, actually.
Yeah.
And you find that out. Well, I always knew we were very close, but we go back a long way, John.
Well, he tells the story how he used to leave that door, Pinnochios, ajar slightly at lunchtimes.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
Well, he worked in the bank down the corner, and we'd take our money down every day, and he'd count it and put it. They were before counters and things, and I knew him on the nod, and he'd looked around one day, and there's a kid hiding in the back. I said, you can't stay here, mate. He said, oh, why? I said, I think I said, this prick doesn't some Hollywood dude didn't want anyone to see him rehearse.
Yeah.
So I said, well, anyway, he hummed and hard. So I said, I'll come over here. He said, put this T-shirt on every time you come and say you work here. And I gave him a Pinnochios T-shirt.
Yeah.
He used to sit there every day and eat his chicken sandwiches, cheese sandwiches.
Cheese sandwiches is
It was
my mate.
still the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, just cheese and
and
bread.
you know, yeah, no, and I've been John. Well, as I say, you never know what you've got until you lose it, and I feel very sad at times. I mean, you lose a lot of people in your life, and people come and go, but for some reason, Pecco's absence has meant a bit more. I don't know what it is. It's maybe anyway.
Yeah,
stuff happens.
Yeah, well, we're doing a. As we speak, we recorded the whole evening.
Okay.
And took video of the whole evening.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Mark at ProCopy and
yeah,
Erin and
yeah,
my friend Strawny here.
Strawny.
They put a lot of work in, and
That's Strawny.
it's Strawny. Yeah. Some people call him Strachan.
Strachan. Is it Stretchin or Strachan?
Stretchin, all sorts of things. And look, we're releasing a DVD early next year.
Wow.
They're putting it all together, and yeah, we're going to sell the DVDs and
what you're doing here is totally bewilders me, and I don't think I'm sure that there is somebody there that will financially support your program. What you've done is,
I hope so.
Well, you basically united people that I haven't heard of from years, coming out of the woodwork, and you know, just to hear these bands getting back together again. I mean, and it needed the nucleus which you guys have provided, and you know, well done and congratulations to all of you. Yeah, no, it's an amazing thing what you're doing, and it has to happen.
Yeah, we're going to do a yearly event. I think it was June.
What about annually?
Yeah, annually.
Not every year? Or what?
No, annually. Yeah.
Annually, sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
yearly or...
Yeah. It's
annually,
the same thing, isn't it? Much the same,
yeah. And for the other people, we're going to do biannual.
Okay, is that what, 3 times a year?
No, that's 2.
Twice. Well, you mean biannual, is like bi.
Yeah, both. 2. But anyway, June the 3rd, I think it was the date we did. I'm pretty sure it was June the 3rd. So every year we're going to have a Pecco gig.
It was the 3rd of June. Are you really? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
Mirth into that.
But we're going to do that, and I think he was involved with Support Act, which is an organisation which supports older musicians and roadies and etc. that fallen on hard times. So
know it very well. I've been to a couple of the meetings over in the east.
Yeah. So hopefully we can raise some money for that.
Support
as well.
Act. Yeah.
So something's good has come out of that, and I think Pecco as well has brought a whole pile of different people together, and
yeah, I mean, he was that type of guy. Very annoying at times.
Yes.
Very annoying. But basically.
So who's your favourite band of all time, Bob?
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your favourite TV show growing up, what would that have been?
6 O'Clock Rock, which went straight into probably, I used to like Tombstone Territory with Clay Hollister.
Right.
See, I go back black and white.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a little bit before me.
Would have been. Then, 240 volts came along, which seemed to change everything. Yeah, and I guess I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. But no specific. Angie Dickinson, policewoman.
Yeah.
Legs, man. Oh God.
Unbelievable.
I wasn't allowed to watch it at home. So my wife found out what it was actually doing to me, then she put it on every night.
So what does the future hold for you, Bob?
Just happiness. I don't really know. I'm having a great life. Not one day goes by where you don't think, what do I do? But I'm pretty happy with everything where my life is, and it's this typical scenario, like great kids, grandkids, as you mentioned, pride of my life.
Yeah.
One's learning to be a rock god. I'll get him to come and speak to you. Would you mind? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
letting his hair grow long so he can flick it back.
Michaela, Jodie and Ben.
Yep.
Met them all when they were
little toddlers.
Well,
Yeah, well, I don't think. Yeah, well, Ben used to come and help me count the money, and that's how he learnt things like never bank the green ones.
So, okay, do you collect anything?
For years, I collected little Pinocchio dolls.
All right.
But since then, I start collections, and then my son collects Monopoly games. He's got a 4-bedroom house, and 3 bedrooms are full of Monopoly. And it's funny, they're all collectors. Well, they're collectors' items, but I want a game of Monopoly, but I haven't got one that I can use because they're all still sealed. Anyway.
Sealed, you can't open it.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like I always wanted to be the bank.
Yeah.
Always won.
Yeah.
No, just a pretty basic sort of life out there. Very happy, very content is a good word, content. Yeah. Surrounded by wonderful people in a beautiful country.
Perfect. And what would you put on your gravestone? Can you think of anything?
My gravestone? Do you know something? Or
No, I'm not suggesting anything.
Spoken to a doctor?
No,
or
it's a question I ask every guest.
Okay.
It's a quirky question,
right.
very quirky, but my producer comes up with these quirky things and I just have to obey.
What about anywhere else but here? No, I think rest in peace is a pretty cool one, isn't it? Like, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have a clue. But, just R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P. Is there anybody that you would recommend coming on this show?
Oh, I'm sure there's quite a lot. Have you had Uber on, Uber Stengel?
No.
Yeah, Uber's a gentleman in a...
Uber?
He's an influence to me. Will Upson.
Yeah.
Will Upson.
The big band.
Yeah, we put it together with Will. And at Pinnochios, if you could believe it, on a Monday night. And it was televised by the ABC.
Yeah.
Still footage out there. I was talking to the other guy over there.
Yeah, that guy. Strawny.
Is it Strawn E?
Strawny.
Strawn E. Okay.
Yeah. Some people call
Yeah,
him.
no, I was talking to Strawny. All that footage is around. There's quite a few people that have contributed. I mean, I love Shona being on the show, and I love Jackie, and I love Sue, because that gives the female perspective of it.
Yeah.
And it's a very female-driven business.
Yeah.
Because if you ain't got the chicks, you ain't got nothing. And they knew what the girls wanted.
Yeah, we certainly need more girls on the show.
Yeah, I think that's where and those three are particularly great. And there's Megan Hughes.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of those people. Big Dennis, the goose, is still out and about, isn't he?
He is. And Megan's still coming to my place once every 2 months for a haircut.
Yeah, and she's got for a haircut.
Yeah.
Are you a barber?
No, my wife.
Oh, that's the hugger.
Yeah, the hugger.
The hugger. Yeah, I'll come for a haircut if that's okay.
Mate, anytime.
Really?
Really good rates too.
Really what?
Good rates.
Good rates, okay.
Yeah. So
can't wait. That's me knocking on the door.
Do you remember this guy? So, Bob, is there something we don't know about you that you can share with us? You've never told people, or
maybe not. I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
I have very strong beliefs. Not necessarily interested in sharing them here so much, but I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
I believe in the mind, and I believe in something.
Yeah.
Not 100% certain what it is.
Yeah.
But if I find out, we can...
Let me know.
We get a song.
Yes.
I found it, I found it.
So, Bob, can we get you to come back sometime and share some of your more intimate stories?
You're just saying that because you don't want to pay me now, do you?
No, well...
So we're going to drag that on?
I'm not getting paid either,
Listen, mate. We always paid you on the top.
No.
If any way at all, I and my companies can contribute to this.
Yeah.
Be very
You've always been very generous and always looked after all of us. Even Mark Whitehouse has
and
worked
paid back in foals.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's wonderful to have you on, and thank you so much for coming tonight. And
it's a pleasure.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks,
Cheers,
Gary.
mate.
Good on you.
That's it for tonight, folks. Can I get you to sing Wandering Star while you're here? Just look into that camera and just quickly.
I was born under a wandering star.
Legend. Thank you very much, folks.
Good one.
Hey, hey, WA, we're with you all the way. You know we'll never fail you. Let's sing out and shout hooray from Esperance up to Broome. Let's all sing out the tune. Hey, hey, we're with you all the way. Shout hooray. Hey, hey, we're with you, WA. Come on, WA. Come on, WA. West is the best. West is the way. Come on, WA. Come on, WA. West is the best. West is the way. Ah, what do you say, WA? Show them all we've got it made. All over Western Australia. Play the game and show the way. From the goldfields to the coast, we know that you're the most. Hey, hey, we're with you all the way. Shout hooray. Hey, hey, we're with you, WA. Come on,